Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Infinite Prosperity Podcast. My name is Louisa Havers and I help high achievers, entrepreneurs and coaches lift the lid on life and business so that they can live at their highest value. Each episode we will bring you our favourite founders, CEOs and guest experts to share with you their insights and strategies to expand your wealth consciousness, your spiritual leadership and aligned business strategies. We know that living in alignment with your soul's mission is what fulfills you, and we are here to show you how to achieve this in an energetically aligned way. If you haven't already, be sure to claim your free abundance activation in the Akashic Records. Go to louisahavers.com/gift to unlock your abundance activation today. And if you'd like my support in having aligned success in life and business, then contact me at www.louisahavers.com and let's explore together if it's an aligned match. Get ready to live at your highest value and to expand into your next level of money as you elevate and receive more. You create more for others. Righty ho, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our conversation this week. I am really looking forward to chatting with Marta and for you all to be introduced to her. So a huge welcome to our show, Marta Greca.
Thanks for having me.
So Marta, I was reading your bio and I'm so excited to share this with everybody because you have been up to some incredible things. So I'm going to share this with everybody so they can see why I'm so looking forward to our conversation today. And then we'll dive into talking about all the things to how to attract more incredible, fabulous clients and for people to carry on working with them.
Sure.
over their lifetime, because I know this is your area of expertise. So Marta is the CEO of Media, the creative agency, which is a boutique marketing agency that provides an entire team of creatives to business owners with missions to serve the world. Marta has been named Women Business Leader of the Year. Her book, The Minimalist Method, The Emerging Entrepreneur's Guide to Peace and Prosperity, yes, please, is a #1 bestseller. And she has been featured in national media outlets like KDKA, WPXI, the Today Show blog, and Inspiring Lives magazines. With over 10 years of marketing experience, Marta generates her clients millions of dollars a year, but more importantly, thousands of free hours to do whatever they love to do instead of feeling stuck doing things in their business that they really don't want to be doing. I think that's going to resonate with so many people. She leads with passion and teaches lessons through humor, launching her clients and listeners alike into lifelong success. I love your background, Marta. So Marta has emigrated from Italy at 9 years old. Marta is fluent in both Italian and French and is a dual citizen of both Italy and France and takes pride in having created a business that provides careers for many creators in the US as an immigrant. And her favorite thing to do in the entire world is to be present for her family. Most importantly, her 6 kids. This is just phenomenal on so many levels. A huge welcome, Marta.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to talk. Let's talk.
Yes, I love everything that you have shared in terms of, your journey to where you have, how you've created your business, and doing that alongside raising 6 fantastic humans is just incredible. I have 2 sons, and so I'm just sort of multiplying that in my head, thinking this is amazing as a mother to achieve all of that. I'd love us to start our conversation with the energetics behind the work that you do, because within your background, when we think about the business that you've created, what are your reflections on what happens for you when you're putting yourself out there energetically? How does that help you attract?
Well, for example, I was just thinking about this today. I'm in the process, as we regularly are at Media, the creative agency, of conversations that include saying yes to our packages that range all the way up to $60K right now. So I've presented these offers and they're really leaning in. I've given them that incentive to let's close the loop by next week. I've given them a set day each, depending on when our call was. And they're, most likely going to say yes. And I was pondering back on how, one, came from me doing one of my virtual series that we also produce for our own clients. And one came from a referral from someone that, yes, I had connected with in person, but we became more deeply connected by me showing up consistently, clearly, and compellingly online. And my true self, my true story. Yes, Louisa, you read my bio, but there's parts of my life that I used to hide, that I used to be very ashamed of. And it's like when you become so open about all of it and sharing all of it, that's when you make the deeper connections.
It's so true. It's something I speak about a lot with my clients as well, because I think there is, and perhaps this is a universal vulnerability in the self of people feeling vulnerable about sharing who they truly are, you know, whether it's with, you know, smaller groups of people, or when we're talking about on the online space, it's vast. And of course, you have no control over who's seeing what, etc., etc. And that can feel kind of scary for people, I think, when they're thinking about getting out there and really sharing who they be and their heart.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's so true. I think, you know, connection is the missing piece, and something that people can really do better with. And this must be something that you're helping your clients with, as well as you're taking them on their journeys too.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to invite you all, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're drinking, whether it's water, whether it's coffee, whether it's tea, whether it's wine, no matter whatever the time is, whenever you're listening to this, anytime you hear a baby babbling, a child maybe screaming, or a dog barking, I want you to take a sip. Let's play that game, because I am a mom of 6, as Louisa mentioned, and today is the day that I hop on all the calls, all the interviews, and my husband's in charge. So let's just give them some love anytime you hear them.
Oh, I love that, Marta, so much. That's brilliant. People, if they've got the glass of wine in hand, they might be like, "Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing a baby babble."
Although this microphone does a pretty good job at cutting out background noise, but we'll see.
That's amazing. How old are your kids then? Have you got the full sort of full range?
Yeah. So my oldest is he's turning 16 in September. And then we've got 14, 11, 8, 6, and 15-month-old. And then the dog. Oh. He's our baby too. He just turned 1. We had a little birthday party for him.
That's so cute. I love it.
Kids are so excited.
That is just fantastic. Those are fantastic ages. It's just always I just think it's such a joy as you see your children, you know, grow and unfold and become the people that they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And how different they all are as well. Oh, I love it. So tell us a little bit more about the business. So you know, I know that you do marketing, you also do PR, and sometimes there can be some sort of myths around the difference between the two and all the things. So can you kind of dive into that a little bit for us and tell you know, help everyone understand the difference between the two, what you guys do, how you accomplish all the amazing things that you do? I think that would be really, really helpful.
Sure. The difference between marketing and PR, I'm going to give it to you in the sense of the nuts and bolts. For the marketing services that we provide, we will run your social media so that people stop their scroll in the middle of all the noise and lean into you and understand why you're the solution to what they're wanting in their lives. And also part of marketing is running your email list. So like maybe you're thinking about it and you're like, I think the last time we emailed someone was like December of last year. And so that way you're consistently popping in their inbox on a regular basis. And depending on the phase of marketing that you're in, it could be daily, or it could be that we do take an intentional pause so that your emails get open, they get clicked, and you get inquiries like, hey, I'd love to know more about how can you help me? And then, of course, there's web development, which includes SEO and implementing things on your website so that your website is working for you to educate, to objection handle, to grow your email list, to grow your social media audience. And there's things implemented in there so that when people search for keywords that they'd be looking for to find an expert such as yourself, they would, you'd pop up in the search engine. So, and then everything I've named is organic. And then we also do ad spend, so strategized ads. And there's things like exposure ads to just get people to know you, grow your audience. And then there's also conversion ads to get people to actually like sign up and spend their money with you. So that's marketing, okay? That's all essentially happening from your space of like your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your email list, your website, right? Everything that I just named. And then of course, other Facebook groups and all that jazz. And then we do engagement, but we won't get into all that. And then there's PR, which is how we display your story, your real raw story of like, yeah, you see this professional on social media and we're making her look real snazzy, real shiny, real successful. Here's her story. Here's the stuff she's been through. Here's the passions that she's got. Here are her mission and her vision and the nonprofits that like all the work that she's doing in the world behind the scenes. And we're doing this through our online magazine, our TV show, our podcast, sponsorships, and also by sharing your story to our media outlets partners. So I myself am regularly called in to be a contributing expert on TV shows. And so with those connections, we're like, hey, this is a really trending topic right now, or people really are like really hungry to know more about this knowledge. We have this expert that's one of our clients. I think you should really have them on the show. So that's PR. And also there's a type of PR, which I'll go a little bit deeper into, but we really don't handle. And that's handling critical situations. Like, for example, I have a dear friend who is a colleague and a client and that works for food industry. For the food industry, she's a PR expert for them. And let's say somebody like a disgruntled employee, this is a true story, apparently, threw fries or like hot oil at somebody through the drive-through. And that's when she needs to step in and make it okay. Make sure everybody's okay, educate the public, apologize. The number one rule, guys, by the way, of PR, when you do something wrong, don't double down. Like, to do some self-reflection, see how you could grow from it, see the lessons that you've learned, get humble, and just say you're sorry. And that's actually a really good life rule, by the way.
That's so true. Gosh, it's the sort of thing that, business owners, that's a huge fear that, an employee is going to do something like that. And then how do you handle it? You're reminding me of my old social services days where we would have to deal with stuff like this, and the media would be coming to us to kind of ask for our comments on some abuse case or whatever it would be. And there's definitely an art to being able to help the communities feel heard as you're kind of helping them to feel safe that you've got, you're taking care of it and you're going to do better, whatever happened.
And establishing new standards and boundaries in the process and processes and systems and operations to ensure that this isn't going to happen again. Mm-hmm. How is this story going to help you to grow and be better for your future clients? And, when we're talking about marketing and PR, there's a lot of communication. And I would love to handle some of your internal objections if you're listening or watching. That's like, yeah, but if I'm visible, so-and-so is going to have something to say about it. Or I'm going to, you hear those horror stories on reality TV show stars who are spending years and decades in jail because they made too much money and they didn't do their taxes properly and they lied. Like, just be a good person. As long as you grow and you get rich and you show up online authentically, genuinely, and you're not doing it in a way that's showing off a persona that isn't really you. Mm-hmm. And then, people are going to have something to say about it. I think there's Brene Brown who has said, everybody knows Brene Brown in the United States. I don't know if she's as popular where you are, but she's just
Brene.
Okay, great. She's like, don't read the comments. Just don't read the comments, right? Because everybody's going to have something to say about it and not everybody's going to be nice. And you'd be, sometimes when you're a business leader and you've gotten so good at maybe putting walls up, and maybe you haven't, but you're like, sometimes you can be really surprised at how mean somebody can be, but hurt people, right? Mm-hmm. They're essentially coming from a place of hurt and their ego's acting up. And so the best way to handle that is, first of all, just show up, because those who matter don't care, and those who care in terms of like have an opinion about you and it's not great, they don't matter really. Like they're not your people. And the best way that I love to handle objections like that, like haters, I actually had somebody reach out to me recently who was international and wanted to get more into the US space doing what I do. Could I help them? And I do have a one-on-one coaching that I could help people. And I, asked her some questions, and I presented the package, and she comes back to me. So I don't know if this was, I don't know, but she comes back to me and she goes, "Whore, you throwing water at me? I already know all this." I just kind of chuckled. That to that extreme, when it's somebody I don't know, I haven't formed a relationship with, really, like I just block them, just block them, right? But when it's someone who maybe was a client and they're upset, or somebody in your family or a colleague, or that feels some sort of way about something that you showed up visibly about, it's a good practice to use the Ho'oponopono prayer, which I'm sure you're familiar with, Louisa, right? Yeah. So you can utilize that prayer, and who knows what the order is? I don't think it matters, but thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, right? So that's a very healing prayer for yourself, right? There's different meditations around it. And so I kind of utilize that script, so to speak, when somebody's coming at me and I'm like, whoa, and there's somebody that I cared about. I have had friends who we just outgrew each other in different ways, because the more that I showed up, they just really didn't get it. And so much love for them. And how I responded was, thank you for your honesty. I'm sorry if this, offended you. I don't remember exactly what it said. It was years ago. I have nothing but love for you, and I will continue to love you. Please forgive me if I've, overstepped or offended you in some way. But I didn't, you don't try to convince them that what you're doing is right. You don't try to convince them that you're a good person. You don't try to make them understand. It's not your job. That's not your job. Just keep showing up.
It's so important. You've touched on so many things there, Marta, I think, that are really important for us as leaders and CEOs of companies, and impacting communities where we may have the ripple effect is beyond what we really know, because of the clients that we're working with, and then who they contribute to as well. And I think one of the things that is so contracting when we haven't moved into that space of forgiveness and forgiving ourselves for any emotions we might have felt in relation to where we've felt triggered by something. But being able to really let go, I think that's really what the gift of forgiveness is that we don't have those energetic charges with other people that then can kind of create that contraction. And if we're wanting to get out there and be more visible with our marketing and with our PR, we've got to feel safe in doing it. And to be able to handle the haters and the impact that can happen. And I often hear, I don't know if you hear people say this as well, people sort of jokingly congratulating each other when you have a hater, because means you've made an impact, you've got out there and you've started to kind of polarize, people, and that's going to mean that's more people, your people, the people that are truly meant to be, connected with you, are going to be more attracted to who you are, because you started to make that
I had a former client who was a coaching client who received a negative review. It was her first negative review on Google, and she was like, how do I delete it? How do I get them to take it off? And I'm like, you know what, I actually have no idea. The best way to handle it is, to say, thank you for your feedback, we're so sorry you had this experience, please tell us, like, we would love the opportunity to make it better. And we, you wouldn't say I love you in this sense. In this case, you would say, we appreciate you and your business so much. It's a type of business where it's not like, it was a cafe. So it wasn't like, you're going to get way more reviews and therefore increase the chances of those haters, right? Like maybe the coffee's burnt that day or something, or you have the wrong barista for the wrong customer. And so I was like, well, first of all, that's how you handle it. I don't actually know. I think it's very difficult to get Google to delete the reviews. I don't like, the only way to do it is to make it right. I don't want to say that the only way to do it, but the course of action that I usually suggest is to make it right with the person who's upset. Certainly don't get into an argument with them. Again, don't try to make them understand, show them that you're right. better to be kind than to be right. And then once you've made it right, hey, can you remove the review? That would really help us out. We're a growing business, and like that really hurts us. And I hope that we've been able to make amends. And if you can't, know that your ideal people are going to see that review and think that that person is bollocks. Like that person is not somebody who they're going to listen to. And the people who love you, they're going to see that comment and go, I'm going to get all my friends to leave a positive 5-star review. So I can bring this back up to a 4.9, right? So just let it go. Do what you can and then just let it go.
It's so true. It's so true. I love your advice around being able to be in that space of, how can we make it better? How can we make it right? To be able to, it's leading with love ultimately, isn't it? And being able to always evolve and to take care of the bit that is ours to take care of,
Yeah.
And to let go of the rest. I know you've been in the marketing world for over 10 years. How did you get your own business? How did you kind of transition into that? Have you always been an entrepreneur? What was the kind of the history behind that?
So I'm going to go all in, Louisa. Okay. I'm hopefully not going to bore you with the details, but I remember.
No, I would love to know, Marta.
Back to my childhood, which is all the root of our insecurities. When I remember moving to the United States, and I think I was in America like 1 year. I maybe had just learned fluent English in 5th grade, and I decided I was going to write a play out of the book The Wish Giver, I think it was, that we were reading in the 5th grade. And I was going to cast it, direct it, and I was going to display it out for everyone to see in the school. And the school like fully supported this. We had rehearsals at my house. I wrote the script. I probably needed to get some copyrights, but I was in 5th grade. And so, that I think now tells me like, okay, like in that, I remember just that full experience lighting me up. I had no fear about what the heck people were going to think. I had no fear about whether it was going to suck. None of it. Like you're a kid. Well, I think at 5th grade, some children have already formed some of that, but whatever. I just wasn't thinking much about it. Just showed up. Here it is. You like it. You like it. You don't. You don't. Maybe it sucked. I have no idea. I should ask my former 5th grade classmates.
Do a poll.
And so that really tells me now, like, what I really love to do is create and direct, which is what I do as the CEO of my marketing agency. I'm the director, right? Then I have my VP of operations who makes it all run, and my writers, my marketing strategists, and my designers, and my admins who really they're our clients team. They're not just my team; they're our clients team who just run the show. But I love to strategize and idea think, and and then and I went to school for professional writing. There was some elements of marketing in there, elements of advertising, but in my junior year of college, I became pregnant with our first son. So I had him about 2 weeks into my senior year, and I graduated. However, I really felt a calling that I just wanted him with me. And at the time, we're still married, we're still together. At the time, we didn't have the best relationship. We were young. He was in a band. He was still trying to figure out how to be a dad. And so he really wasn't there. We lived with my parents. He was uncomfortable. So he really wasn't there. So I had to go to school and I had to get a job that would allow me to be with my baby. So I was working in an ice cream shop. They let me turn the office into a nursery. I ran the thing. And I started to do all the things that I had learned in college for PR and marketing and communications and advertising and apply it to the ice cream shop. And this is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where it is freaking cold, below zero, like raining. Nobody wants ice cream at least 6 months out of the year. Okay. But I'm running this ice cream shop and I'm hitting, really good sales years. We're hitting some really, it's the ebb and flow of business, but I'm, organizing events, figuring out how to monetize it by hosting birthday parties, because then you give the birthday parties, the favor of a free ice cream cone, and they come back, and like having all these ideas and, starting to do photography and do promotional videos about the summer camps and about the birthday parties and about the catering and doing the social media. And then, it just gets harder and harder to strap babies to your back once you go to 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4, I was like, I physically can't do this anymore. I can't keep strapping babies to my body and keeping them from eating ice cream all day long and running this business. I'm just exhausted. And, I just really don't even really like ice cream that much. I'm just going to be honest with you. And, so grateful for that experience. It was traumatic in some ways. I was definitely in hustle mode. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so I decided to start applying all the things that I was doing for the ice cream shop for different clients. And, I went through the stages of doing all the industries, helping all the people, burning myself out, learning the lessons, having to, make, what is it? Draw the line and minimalize and start from scratch and go back at it again with more focus and more clarity and more peace.
Oh, that's what I think all business owners want.
Was it boring? If you're watching this, was this a boring story? Tell me if I did the whole thing next time. I don't know why I told the whole
Not
thing.
at all, Marta. I'm thinking I've just got brilliant images of you as, 4 babies all kind of clambering all over you as you're hustling your way through and learning all the things that that we do, don't we, when we're kind of embarking out on our journey and trying to kind of figure it all out, trying to figure out being a business owner, trying to figure out, the bits that we love, trying to figure out being a mum or a dad. It's the manual that they give us in school didn't kind of cover all of this stuff, did it? And these are the important pieces of the puzzle. I think that, peace for me is something that I hear a lot around as people are growing their businesses, beyond that kind of 6-7 figure revenue, is just to be able to have more peace. And that's where being able to have people with the expertise that you've got coming in to kind of take a whole chunk off their workplate is just magical. Mm-hmm. I would love to know some of a client success story that one that you love, that perhaps that they had somebody who had perhaps a significant following, because this can happen for people that on the visually their business should be flourishing, significant following, but somehow the bank account isn't kind of reflecting the external metrics if you were to look at it.
Yeah, we've had multiple influencers come to us with tens of thousands of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're burning out. Maybe they're owning multiple roles for multiple streams of income. That's not the level that we really serve if you're still working a full-time job, but maybe that was the case, just out of opportunity. They're also the CEO of another company while running this company. And in one case, they were able to double their revenue within 4 months of working with us. And these were influencers who knew how to use social media. They knew how to get people's attention. They'd been on the Today Show as experts, and other experts who, in front of everybody, they're on magazine covers, they're on stages speaking. They are, they're like the people who lift everybody up with them, but they really weren't able to properly formulate content that translated into paying clients. Mm. And then I will tell you that I have had influencers who came to me and they, they've come to me, and it's really important and lesson learned that, this is your offer. You've been doing it for a while. It lights you up. You are amazing at helping people. And you really don't want to reach out to a marketing agency who's going to be at the investment level we are when you're still kind of trying to figure it out. Now, of course, we're at much higher investment level than we used to be, but I used to try to help them figure out their offer and then promote it too. And then it didn't really convert because they really were not in full grounded alignment with their offer. They weren't sure about it, and they were collaborating and bringing people in that also weren't sure about it. And it is totally okay if you are all over the place and you are a multi-interested entrepreneur, but when you are doing that 24/7 and you don't really have a system in place for any of it, then maybe your next step is not a marketing agency. The next step would maybe be a VP of operations for all of it, and some clarity, and really fine tune those offers and ensure that what is your cost to conversion. You know exactly what you're selling. When you know exactly what you're selling and you're so confident that it's transforming people's lives, making their lives better, you're so good at it, your team's awesome, that's whenever you want to come to us.
That's such good advice, because I do think it's an art in knowing who you need to hire next,
Yeah.
and the bits of growth in your business as to when that's going to be right for you, and to be able to maximize the growth. Otherwise you're kind of spending money on the wrong thing, and then you're not going to get the growth and the impact
Right.
that
I
you
have had people even recently who reached out to me for marketing, and I've kind of sent them back and said, I don't think you're quite ready for this. I do have this coaching program, but I don't promote it because I just love for my team to just come in and do it for you.
And why not, because that's the
Right.
piece for people to, where you've got your expertise, being able to just come in and to be able to take care of everything. How does it work then, if you're kind of thinking about, because there'll be people listening at different stages of their journey, perhaps, so with the business leaders that haven't got a big following or an email list, what would you be recommending to them?
Well, we've worked with people who didn't have a big following or
Mm.
email list, and they were able to get their investment back within a couple months. Or there's been times when it's necessary for you to be in a relationship with us for 12 months, because we have someone who's been with us for 9 months, and we have grown her email list exponentially, increased the open rates like a 30%, which is amazing. We doubled the people in her Facebook group. We I think nearly doubled the followers on her Instagram and on her Facebook. We've increased her engagement. We've helped her to sell her book when it wasn't even like off the ground. It's just something that we were like, okay, we're gonna just come in and do help you do this too. And she now sells multiple copies, many copies a month, which is now strategized also as a conversion piece. So we did all that, and now we're in the process of we've done multiple training series for her, and it's been converting. She's getting, I think the last one she had like 40 leads from it, and converting those leads, because we've created those relationships, we've grown those lists, we've got an ad stream happening for her. We're testing it all out, we're monitoring it, and then see what's working and not working, and continuously tweaking it for her so that she can travel the world through her multiple properties that she has. Part of the year she lives in a yurt on a horse ranch in California. Part of the year she lives in Florida, and she's got multiple properties there. So she just really gets to be, and she's got an incredible story too.
Oh, I love it. I love how we get to connect and work with all these amazing clients from all over the world. It is just incredible. And one of the things, as you were sharing this, it feels like an important reflection, is that, because of course the conversations I have with my clients are around the energetics, the pieces where your subconscious is blocking you. But it feels, and I see this a lot with people that are, particularly who haven't quite yet hit their first six figures yet, is where they think there is an energetic block, but actually the energetic block is the marketing and the messaging, because they haven't actually developed the skill good enough yet, if that makes sense. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there for anyone who is in that space, and perhaps haven't had their messaging landing, and they're thinking it's an energetic block. I'm going to invite you to consider that the energetic block is the marketing itself and the messaging there. Does that resonate from your perspective as well?
Yeah. And also maybe you've done the courses, you've watched all the things, you've read all the books, but like, are you applying it on a daily basis? Are you prioritizing all the other things and saying, well, I just don't have the time or have the bandwidth? If I, as a mom of 6 kids, can grow to a multi-6-figure marketing agency while supporting my husband in building our multi-7-figure land development company, also taking care of my mother who was dying of cancer, and my dad who has Alzheimer's. If I can do it, because sometimes, guys, I freaking love writing copy. So sometimes if that's not you, just hire us. But my team mostly writes all my stuff. They get it all. They do all the admin work. They're amazing. But sometimes I get in there and I'll write, a post or two, or like I'll be like, hey, Danielle, which is my head girl, my head writer. Surprise, you were on vacation. I wrote like a whole week's worth of content. So when you came back, you didn't have to like
lovely.
have more work on your plate. And just being of service to others. So if I can do it, you can do it. There is a way.
It's so true.
You got to apply it. You got to show up.
Yeah. It comes down to, I think, that piece of we have to require more of ourselves. And really, it's where, as our businesses are growing, is really thinking like, how much more can I require of myself? Where do I need to raise my standards to put more boundaries in place? Where do I need to have more forgiveness, like we were talking earlier, so that we haven't kind of got any energy leaks going on and distracting us from really enabling us to lead with love and to be of service.
And if that sounds overwhelming to you, we're not talking about working 24/7. We're not talking about being on 7 days a week. We're talking about when it's time to show up and ask for help where you can, even if other people don't want to help you. That's the only way, if you're not at the place where you can invest in getting more assistance in different areas of your life, then you got to just keep asking for help. And if there's resistance around it, just, take it, right? And have those strong boundaries. When it's time to work. When it is time to play. And there are certainly times in my business where I'm so like inspired and fired up. And of course, anytime that I'm working with a coach, because like that's when I'm most fired up and excited. And anytime I'm not working with a coach, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to chill and wait for it to receive. And it doesn't necessarily happen that way. You've got to show up and be in the room. Your business is like an energy in itself, and you've got to be not in the business meddling with everything, but like present within the energy of it. And what does it need from you as a CEO? And then just shut off, set those boundaries and standards of when you're going to shut off. I own a marketing agency. I delete the social media apps from my phone every single night. I sometimes have different devices, but right now, one device for simplicity's sake, and I delete the apps from my phone at night and on the weekends. And my team pre-schedules out everything they can for me. And I make my own reels on Instagram because it's just too much fun. But I pre-schedule those. So thank God that Instagram has given me that setting, but so that I could just completely shut off at certain times of the day.
It's so important, isn't it? Because otherwise you can go down that scroll hole and you'll be like, I don't know, how have I done half an hour of I don't know what?
Anxiety inducing and depressing. And I don't care how much work you've done on yourself, how much healing you've done, you can't have stuff coming at you all the time.
No, it's so true. So true. Oh, I just have loved our conversation, Marta. Where can people find you? And I know you've got a really generous gift. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about that so that they can benefit?
Yeah. You can find me on, and I usually tell people one thing, okay? But if you're an Instagram person, find me on Instagram, Marta Greca. If you're on Facebook, if you're more on Facebook, find me on Facebook, Marta Greca. But if you're more on LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, Marta Greca. The bottom line is PM me and I will take one look at the profile wherever you're PMing me from and give you 3 quick shifts to turn it into a client magnet. And if I can feel like I can help you with some of it, yeah, sure, we can have that conversation. But if I don't, I'll just give you your 3 shifts and take it or leave it. Go from there. Grow. Be you.
I love it. That's hugely generous. Thank you so much, Marta. And encourage everybody to do that. So, and we'll pop the links that you've given us as well in the show notes too, so people can come and find you. Click all the links and all the things. Thank you so much for your love and generosity and humor and for our conversation today, Marta.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Infinite Prosperity podcast. We will be back again soon. We'd love to hear your reflections. Please do come and say hello. If you've enjoyed this podcast episode, say hi on any of the platforms. Tag me and Marta as you share the podcast. We'd love to hear that and to hear what landed for you. And excited to see what will unfold off the back of this podcast for you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Marta. Lots of love. Thanks for listening to the Infinite Prosperity podcast. And if you like what you've heard and want to know more, please go to louisahavers.com. We just appreciate you so much. So thank you for listening and hanging out with us. If there's anything that we can do for you, you can email us at louisa@louisahavers.com. Let my team know if you have any ideas for shows that you'd love to hear or topics you want me to talk about. Really looking forward to hearing from you. All right, that is it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for today. Looking forward to connecting with you again. Until next time, namaste.